Branding isn't your logo. It's not your color palette. So what is it exactly? Branding is the accumulated information and associations in the buyer's mind. When someone hears your name, your brand, what instantly comes to mind? That is your brand. Branding is what people remember. In the next few minutes, I'll show you a clear way to think about branding. One that makes it measurable, predictable, and strategically useful. Most people think branding is visual identity, but that's decoration. Branding is meaning. And when branding is treated like visuals instead of mental positioning, something strange happens. Campaigns don't compound. Messaging keeps resetting. Nothing seems to stick in the market. And the instability gets blamed on marketing. The reason branding feels confusing, fluffy, and impossible to measure is simple. Most people are measuring the wrong thing. Once you see branding through the lens of meaning, not visuals, you start recognizing it instantly in any business, including your own. So what branding actually is? Branding is the meaning people attach to your name. That's it. If they think, oh yeah, they are a premium option, they are the ones who simplify this topic. They fight against industry nonsense. They are for people like me. That instant mental reaction, that's branding. It lives in memory. It lives in perception. It lives in association. Branding is not what you say you are. Branding is what people remember you as. Let that sink in, because if branding lives in memory, then every message either builds it or dilutes it. To understand how branding is built, we need to zoom out. There's a structure behind how people assign meaning. I call it the Persuasion Ladder. At the bottom you have product features, then benefits, then problem solved, then the enemy the product fights, then how life gets better, and finally the identity transformation. The lower levels clarify the product. Features answer, what is it? What does the product do? Benefits answer, what good comes out of it? But branding mostly lives in the remaining four. The problem, the enemy, how life gets better, and identity transformation. That's when meaning forms. For example, a product feature might say, we have a 24/7 support. Benefits say, you'll get help anytime. Problem says, you won't feel stuck or alone at any given moment. The enemy says, we fight confusing, slow, outdated systems. How life gets better says, you will feel in control. And identity says, you are the kind of person who operates efficiently and confidently. Now we're not selling support anymore. We are selling identity. And identity is where brands live. The higher you climb on that ladder, the stronger the brand meaning becomes. And most businesses never climb high enough, which is why their brand feels interchangeable. Now let's talk about brand equity. Brand equity is the stored value of your brand in people's minds, the quantity part of it. The more you repeat your messaging, the more of it sticks in your audience's mind. Quantity increases, and with that, brand equity increases. Strong brand equity means people trust you faster, people recognize you faster, people choose you faster, people compare you less, people pay more willingly, people defend you after buying. Brand equity reduces perceived risk before comparison even starts. That's powerful, because most businesses try to win during comparison. Strong brands win before the comparison even starts. And that advantage compounds over time. So how does brand equity build? Brand equity builds through repetition of the same core meaning. If you constantly talk about a specific problem, a specific worldview, a specific enemy, a specific transformation, over time you become associated with that idea. That stored association becomes equity. But if your message changes constantly, if one week you are about mindset, the next week productivity, the week after that AI tools, there is no accumulation. Inconsistent messaging prevents brand equity from forming. You cannot deposit into a memory bank if you keep changing the label on the account. Brand equity is psychological accumulation. Repetition might seem boring, but repetition is branding. And this is where most marketers sabotage themselves. They get bored before the market even notices them. The market needs repeated exposure. Brand equity forms slowly and then suddenly, which means inconsistency is more expensive than most marketers realize. Now let's connect the whole strategy. Positioning is the strategic choice. Who it's for, what problem does it solve exactly, and what makes your product the best choice for this audience to solve that problem. Persuasion ladder is how you communicate value. Branding is the repetition of meaning. And brand equity is the accumulated psychological value from that repetition. Without positioning, branding is random. Without repetition, brand equity never forms. If you don't choose one clear audience with one clear problem and one clear worldview, then your branding floats. It becomes a decoration, and decoration doesn't influence decisions. Structure does. And structure is what makes branding scalable. This is why after working with hundreds of clients, I stopped thinking about marketing as creativity first. It's architecture first. Once the structure is correct, the creativity works. But without structure, it's just decorating instability. Creativity without clarity is just being weird and not in a good way. So let's land this. Branding is not decoration. It's memory engineering. And memory is what drives preference long before logic activates. You are engineering what comes to mind when someone hears your brand name. You are engineering associations. You are engineering perceived safety. You are engineering perceived identity. And brand equity is the quantity of that engineered memory. It's what happens when engineered memory becomes strong enough to influence decisions before comparison even starts. Before your audience checks the competitors. Before they read the reviews. Before they analyze specific features your product offers. They already lean towards you. That's not random and not luck. That's accumulated meaning. So if you want stronger branding, don't start with colors. Start with what problem do you want to own? What enemy do you want to fight? What life improvements do you enable? What identity do you reinforce? Then repeat it again and again and again. Check the description and the pinned comment below for more helpful resources on this topic. And if you liked this video, you will also appreciate this one. It explains the science of persuasion in details. Thanks for watching.